part one of a combat training session for the rounds in Ratrapina roleplay game. And now it is time for combat training. In the realm of Lacmissum, we have a bunch of new trainees heading to Captain Yerk's training shack out in the middle of the forest, where Lacmissum guards train for combat, hence the name combat training. And as they make their way down the forested path and everybody makes a faint eye contact with each other, everybody enters a certain classroom, passing a certain lad who is very, what is he, navy blue? He's a navy blue looking Viporio named Captain Yerk, a very tall one, with some very neon bright blue hair combed back behind his golden guard on his forehead. He looks up as his students start taking their seats and picking where they want to sit, but then Captain Yerk stands up and he goes, No, students. I have assigned seats because I learned in the past what happens when I let students pick their own seats. It's shenanigans and chicanery. So, everybody, your names are already written down on the desks, and I'd like you to take your assigned seats, please. He slowly turns his glance over to Bitter Bean Juice, the Enian with glasses who's currently sweating so fucking profusely you'd swear that there was a mini rain cloud over his head, and there's already a puddle underneath his seat.
What was that? What was that for? I just, I'm trying my best, sir. You know I'm trying my best. He says as he wipes his brow, and then he wrings his his scarf onto the floor. I'm trying my best to learn here, sir. I'm sorry I have a short-term memory loss or something like that.
Don't pretend you haven't been in my class for 2 years now.
My mom says that I'm really special. My mom says that I'm really special. I'm sorry.
Oh, Bitter. I hear your voice more than I hear my wife's, and that's not a good thing.
This time, for sure, you know what they say, third time's the charm, it's what they say, third time's
it better be, because if this time isn't the charm, he starts grabbing his mark and writing on the board. That's what's gonna happen.
I don't understand what, he wipes his glasses, but they're really wet because I can't read that, it's really blurry, sir.
Oh, it's too blurry for you? What's going on? Is that what you're asking? Here, I have a solution. Nothing! There's nothing going on once I figure out how to erase. There we go. Wonderful.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. You're always you're always so charming, sir. I always look forward to seeing you every day, sir.
Silence, Bitter. He points over at April. April! Introduce yourself. April, who has snot hanging from her nose, goes, Sorry, sir, I forgot to bring tissues. Can I please borrow your tissues? It's just allergy season right now. Yerk gives her 5 boxes of tissues. Okay, I'm April, everybody. Thank you so much, Yerk, sir. All right, please face Bitter's direction and blowing your nose. You think he's already sick, so you can't make.
No, that's okay. That's okay. April,
and next
okay.
Up, we have
April is cool.
I don't even have your name on my list. He looks up at a tall demon sitting beside April in the classroom. I'm not sure who you are. Could you please introduce yourself?
My name is Whisper.
All right, Whisper. Strange that you're not on my log. Are you supposed to be here right now?
Yes, I was scouted earlier today in town.
Scouted. I'm assuming by Garrett?
I was not assured of his name, but yes, in town, he gave me a pamphlet, and now I am here.
Well, alrighty then. As long as you're here, I suppose, and ready to learn, I can see you don't have an outfit yet, but just have one for next time.
Yes, sir.
Anyhow, next up, the tall board with the wide grin.
Are you talking about me?
That's correct. I am talking about you. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, as you can see on this real chain right here, my name is Ed Ramen Kaka PB Walls.
You're gonna have to slow down on that one, Ed Ramana. What was that name now?
Oh, my name is Ed Ramana Kaka Heebie Balls, or Ed for short.
Ed Ramana Kaka Heapy Bowls?
Something like that.
All right, Heapy Bowls. Welcome. Let's start in the second row. He points back at the person sitting in the top right corner of the classroom from Yerk's perspective. It looks like somebody who is oddly missing a name. He goes, he gestures towards his clipboard. There's just a blank name here. It's just nothing. It's just like someone didn't fill out their name. He looks over. It's you. He points towards the person who's missing a name. What is your name? It is missing on the clipboard. Come again?
He takes off his mask. Well, actually, my name is, it's right on there.
You're gonna have to understand. I'm going on 50. I can't hear you. What is your name?
It's on your paper.
Yerk walks around his desk over to you. Yeah, he points at your spot. There's no name here. You forgot to fill in your name on the clipboard.
But it's right there.
You need a name to sign up, and you need a sign to become a guard. You do realize, right?
He sighs and signs his name again over the name that's already there.
He just squints. What did you write?
My name, the first name, my name.
He looks
First
down.
name.
That's just the default. Wait, you wrote first name?
Yeah, my first name.
Yerk looks over at Bitter, and then he looks back at you. All right, I'm officially calling you Annoying One because you're starting my day off very annoyingly. He walks back to his desk. Okay, welcome to class, Annoying One. And what about, he taps his board and looks back. Shoot. He pulls out some reading glasses. I could definitely read without my reading glasses. Hold on a second. Let me just... Jeff Exos? Jeff Exos, is that right?
No, it's Jeff Egos, like Egos.
Jeff Egos. So the Z is silent?
Yes, the Z is silent.
Okay, Jeff Egos. Anything you want to say for your introduction here? Because I kind of spoiled that for you.
I'm only good at cooking eggs.
Good. Lives up to his name. I like a man who stays true to his word, even if he didn't choose it. And he taps his board. And who do we have here? Nicholas? Nick, that you? He points.
Yeah, that's me.
What's up, Nicholas? You want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Nick. Or you can call me Nicholas. Either or is fine with me. Looks at Bitter and looks at the other weird guy and says, "You guys are a drag."
It's not very nice, man. I didn't do what he said to you, man. I don't even know you, man.
No, he's correct. As a matter of fact, you see it right on the clipboard. I just gave you 1 point for one correct answer. They are both a drag indeed.
Well,
And
here to
he looks
improve.
over beside you. And who is this? Marshall? He goes, "Yeah, what's up? My name Marshall White." Hello, Marshall White. Would you like to introduce yourself? "Yeah, I'm Marshall White. Yeah, I'm here to learn some combat. Yeah, I'm here fucking with Marshall." You here to Marshall? "I'm here fucking Marshall. I'm gonna fucking White. I'm gonna fucking Marshall." He turns around and he starts lightly tapping his forehead against the board as if he's hurting himself. All right, welcome to class, Marshall. And then with that looks like everyone. Let's get started. But then suddenly the door opens and another man walks in. A man who has intense aura. There is a board with an unusually chiseled face, almost as if he has line art drawn on top of it. And he has blonde hair and he looks very handsome. He goes, "Oh, never mind. We have another. Oh, somebody's silently walking to their desk. Okay. It looks like this is He taps his board. Are you Goober? Goober Ghostar? Is that?
What's up? It's me, Goober Ghost Star. You probably heard of me in your dreams.
Hey, Goober Ghostar. Class started 5 minutes ago, and you just missed all the introductions.
You know, I was just busy dreaming about myself and my own dreams. I was also eating spaghetti.
Well, I can respect a man who eats spaghetti, because I too have spaghetti for lunch. Leftover, indeed, from my wife's cooking. I also have a peanut butter jelly sandwich, but that's beside the point. You're going to have to be here punctual next time, Goober Ghostar.
I'm very sorry. I'll keep better note of that next time.
He nods. All right. Well, with introductions out of the way, what do you say we get started with some learning? Yeah, that's somebody's favorite thing. That's kind of what you're here for. So if you're not in the mood for learning, I will point towards that wooden door that says exit over it. Otherwise, buckle up, bring out a pen and a piece of paper, because it is time to get down in the combat grind. April starts clapping her hand rapidly. Yay! Combat grind! Combat! Oh, sorry! I can already feel the love. All right. I would like to say, first and foremost, everybody, please answer questions. Ask questions. If you have a question and you're not asking it, I will remember it in my dreams and I will haunt your nightmares. So if you have a question, ask them. I don't want to hear a question about running when we've already moved on 4 sections and 4 classes from now. If you have a question about running, ask it right after I talk about running, all right? Is that clear, everyone?
I hear you loud and clear, teacher.
Yeah, it's Marshall.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's clear.
Sure.
Bless you.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry.
That's
You
fucking
really-
disgusting.
You really need to get that checked out.
It's just allergies. I'm not actually sick or anything. She turns towards better.
Oh, what are you doing? What? Good.
He told me
He,
that
he like
ice
starts
cream for you.
wiping his face with this wet, sweaty scarf. Whoa, don't you know that's so gross?
Well, he told me to.
I don't want to get
said
sick. I don't want to get sick. What's wrong with you? He
I know.
rings it out on the floor and slaps it at her.
You guys
Gross.
Here it goes. You guys are both gross. Let's just call it a truce on gross even. How about that? Gross neutral. All right, a double negative makes a neutral, right? Or positive? No, it's not positive. Both of you are just fucking gross. Moving on. Okay, so I'm assuming most of you guys are newbies. Bitter. I wasn't asking you, but
Whatever.
I think everybody else here is tier 1, I would assume, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marshall nods. I'm Marshall, yo. I'm Marshall. I'm tier 1, yo. All right. Well, does everybody know the difference in tier 1 and tier 2 and even tier 3? Does anybody understand why we have tiers? And hey, I'm all for calling on people randomly if no one raises their hand, but if you have the answer, I'd like you to raise it yourself, please.
Teacher, I don't know the
Goober
answer.
Ghostar? You
I
don't
don't
know
know.
the answer? You raised your answer to say you don't know the answer?
Correct.
That's incorrect. He marks a point off for you.
Wait, why? I was being honest.
All right, fair point. He gives you a point.
Yes. Thanks, Teach.
You're back at 0. All right. Anybody have the answer? Does anyone know why we have tiers?
Don't you isn't that when you're stronger or something?
I think we have tiers because we cried.
I like to raise my hand.
He looks over at Bitter, then he looks back at Ed. Ed, you were saying?
Don't you get stronger when you get stronger, you get a tier up, and you tier up, and you get tier 2 when you're stronger.
I mean, yes, but do you know why and how we get stronger?
When you get stronger or something.
All right, that's it. He points at Bitter. Bitter, you clearly have the answer, so would you like to explain why we have tiers?
Yes, sir. They show the level of strength, and as we get uh, uh, he trails off.
Okay, it looks like I'm gonna have to give everyone the answer. That's okay. Don't feel disencouraged. Just make sure that next time I ask the same exact question, you repeat the answer back to me. All right. He suddenly grabs out his marker and he pops the cap off. We have 3 tiers, and I'm going to show you why we have them. And once I figure out how to use this whiteboard, he's trying to pop the cap off. This whiteboard marker. How do I get this off of here? Okay, there we go. Whoever made this whiteboard marker, more evil than the people who make pickle jars. I swear it. Anyhow.
I
So
love
tier-
pickles.
I also love pickles, except not really. I just said that to be agreeable. I fucking hate pickles. He writes out all the tiers and he goes, okay, so we have 3 tiers. I'm going to explain what sets them apart and how you consider yourself tier 1 or tier 2. And then I'll explain why you're tier 1. First off, nobody seemed to have the answer on how we get stronger. Well, he looks back. Should I ignore you, or do you have something to say, annoying one?
He takes off his mask. You get it from experience, don't you?
Correct. And the full title would be Votaire Experience. And that is because, I'm sure all of you know, he starts drawing a diagram. Inside of our bodies, inside our organs, we have 2 things that pump blood and Votaire for us. We have our heart, which pumps blood through our veins so that our muscles can move and that our brain can get fueled. And we have a Votaire core on the adjacent side, which kind of moves along with your veins, but it allows you to eject Votaire through your Votaire points as well as think and feel, because Votaire is our soul. That being said, what does this have to do with tiers? Well, let's say that you are fighting somebody and you are attacking them. Now your Votaire cores are going to activate. You're currently attacking them and you're swinging your arm. And like a muscle, you work it out, and what happens? It gets stronger. Because you work out your arm muscles, you get better arm muscles. So what happens with your Votaire lines? You attack somebody, your Votaire lines learn from that, your soul learns from that, and the next time you attack, you'll attack just a little teensy bit harder. Again, it's like muscles. You're not going to see immediate improvement after one fight. But if you keep working out, aka you keep fighting people, your Votaire core and soul is going to learn, and it's going to get better, it's going to get more fleshed out, and it's going to become much, much more powerful. So, what does this have to do with tiers? Well, a tier 1 could be considered an average of 20 to 100 Votaire experience, as the annoying one pointed out. And Votaire experience is just a mathematical number we use to explain how powerful somebody is. So, if somebody has 20 to 100 Votaire experience on average of all of their stats, their defense, their speed, their attack, everything, their combat speed, then they'll be considered tier 1. And once they pass 100 to 250, they're considered tier 2. Now, you might say, why do we start at 20 and not at 0? Does anyone know? He looks around. I guess not.
He has his whole hand up still.
Ah, he points over. Annoying one. Go ahead.
He takes off his mask. It's because if you didn't have any, wouldn't you have no soul, therefore not be alive?
That is half of the... I will give you points for that. That is true. If your Votaire is at 0, then you're not alive, and it means your Votaire is completely expelled through your body. Much like your blood, if you run completely out of Votaire, you will die. So that is correct, but that wasn't the answer I was looking for. The reason is that when we are born, we actually naturally already have an average of 20 Votaire. Now, if you have some sort of Votaire disability, like your core isn't producing enough Votaire, it could be lower, but about 99% of the Realmiverse has 20 Votaire experience by the age of 18. So, everyone here unless you've already been in combat and gaining more experience on your own outside of this class, you might have 20, or you might be higher. I'm sure Bitter is, because Bitter, you've been helping out with the parasite cleanup, and we do thank you for that, Bitter.
No problem, sir. No problem. I like to try. I do my best to help the community, sir.
He nods. And now, let's talk about this. So, if we have 20 and we have 100, well, if we take 25 times, that equals 100. So that means there are some tier 1s that are 5 times more powerful than an average person who's just been born and reached the age of 18. So clearly there's pretty large differences in people's abilities. Some people can only run 1 foot per second, and some can run 5 foot per second. It depends on your power and ability. So this is a simplification, of course, but this does stand. There are different powers. Now again, this is an average of all stats. Most people have 20 attack, 20 defense, 20 speed, 20 combat speed. So that average would average out to 20. Does everyone here understand how an average works?
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay, good. I'm not going to explain average then. But like I said, ask a question if you don't know. But yeah, if everything's 20, then obviously the average is 20. But what about if you had stats like you had, like he looks over at Whisper, you're a demon. And most people know that demons are naturally the most gifted attackers in the entire realm of Earth. They actually start off with 50 attack, which is a lot higher than 20. But they also start off with an average of about 10 speed and 10 combat speed. So they can be quite slow if they don't train up their speeds. Does this sound accurate at all, Whisper?
I would suppose so.
And that just goes to show that we all have different stats, but if you were to take all of your stats, Whisper, and you were to average them out, it would still average around 20. You might be higher with attack, but you're lower in other areas. However, I would like to point a very, very common misconception out, and that is that a demon in tier 1 who's super attack heavy might still be the most heavy attacker once they reach tier 2. But this is not always the case. And I'd like somebody to guess why. How come a demon that has 50 attack from the get-go, how could they reach tier 2 and suddenly they're a defender and they have more defense than attack? How does that happen?
He has
Anyone?
his hand up again.
He points over. All right, you annoying one. You're pretty talkative today. I might give you a different nickname depending on how this answer goes.
Well, I'm just judging here. I didn't put my mask on for once, but just judging here. Well, if you can't run all the time, the best thing you can do is defend in a moment. And defense, if you rack that up, you'll get more experience in defense, because running is not always the best idea in a scenario.
That is correct. And you're completely on the right track. The reason how a demon could start off as a heavy attacker and end up as a heavy defender is because you only gain experience for what you do. So let's say, hypothetically, this would almost never happen, but let's just say hypothetically, you entered 50 battles over the course of a year, and in all of those battles, you somehow never dodged, you never ran, you never used your speed, you never attacked either. You only blocked with a shield. Then you would only have Votir defense. So let's say this diagram represents all your different pools. Let's say that red is your... Oops, sorry about that. Let's say red is your attack. Damn this thing. Red is your... This is not the correct marker. He slams it down. This is your attack right here. And let's say that this is your speed. And let's say that this is your defense. Now you see they're not even. And this is because over that year, you kept blocking. So your speed and attack stayed the same. We're going to say that both of these are both 20. But if you kept defending over 50 battles, you might have gained 50 more defense than 20, putting this at 70 and these only at 20. Now that's not even. If you were to take the average of these numbers, it wouldn't be 70 because there's all the other stats are still 20. It would average out to something like 30 because the other ones are too low. But this is how you can reach a higher tier and you can completely change your stats around. As a matter of fact, I used to know a Sevelidius. Sevelidiuses, if you don't know, are very, very fast. They're considered the fastest race in the Realmniverse. And I know a Sevelidius that is the strongest defender on their entire team, despite being a Sevelidius, which notoriously have horribly low defense. At the age of 18, their average defense is not even 10. So they're very, very weak when they start. And somehow she trained her, maybe she was afraid. Maybe she was afraid of getting hit with such low defense, so she just kept training it, and that fear paid off because now she has more defense than everyone on her team. That's just how it works. Any questions before we move on from this? I'm going to
No,
take
sir, I
that
think I understand.
I hope you understand, Bitter. You've been here plenty of times.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Alright, now, well, I didn't go over Tier 3, but just so you know, Tier 3 is considered 250 plus. There is no such thing as Tier 4, so if somebody tells you Tier 4, they're joking. Don't get afraid, there is no such thing as Tier 4. Though if there was a Tier 4, people say it would probably be around 500. But there are probably, and I'm not joking, less than 5 people and the entire Realmniverse filled of millions and millions of people that have over 500 Votaire experience. That is very uncommon. Now, you might say, Yerk, that's interesting and all, but why are you telling me this? Well, that is because I'm getting into my next point. How do we gain Votaire experience? Well, you gain it by defending to get defense and attacking to get attack, but there's one more element I didn't mention yet, and that is called risk. Does anyone want to take a guess how risk has anything to do with Votaire experience?
I raise my hand.
Yes, Eggman.
I think the more risk you take, the more XP you gain.
Correct, and vice versa. If there is no risk, you will gain no experience. So, I'm going to draw another visual for this one. Let's just say that this nice blue Lacmissum guard right here, that's not blue. These damn markers, he throws it out the window. I just hate him. Who keeps
Teacher,
buying these black
are you
markers?
colorblind?
He looks back at you and he gives you a glare. Absolutely not. I can definitely see what color this is. He holds up a red marker. This is my blue marker.
These markers are a
Teacher,
drag.
maybe you should get a medical examination.
A medical examination? I will have my wife give me an examination. No doctor is examining me.
Sir, I'm pretty sure that that's red.
He looks at the
I'm
marker.
also pretty sure.
No, it is. He takes a blue marker. Here we go. This beautiful man right here is a Lacmissum guard, or woman. April goes, yeah, woman!
I missed totally.
So let's say this person right here is you. You have speed, you have attack, you have defense. Now, I haven't been mentioning this at this point, but you also have combat speed. Those are your there's 4 key stats to every person. Those are the 4 key ones. There's also Votaire, but it doesn't quite equivalent to the other stats. It's kind of its own separate. I'll get to that later. Don't question that just yet. But these are your main ones. Attack, defense, speed, combat speed, and Votaire. So let's say that you're fighting somebody of equal strength to you, who also has, very similarly, similar amount of defense, similar amount of speed, similar amount of Votaire, etc., etc., etc. Now, if you guys are fighting, will you gain any experience? Does anyone want to take a guess? Ed, what do you think?
Maybe it depends on how much risk.
Depends on how much risk. Well, what do you think? Ed, what do you think? If these two people, they have the same amount of everything. So is this blue guy right here going to gain anything from fighting this guy?
Well, I'd probably say yes, because, I mean, even though they're probably the same, they're still at risk because they would still be equals, aren't they?
That is completely correct. If you are fighting somebody with the same strength as you, you're evenly matched, which of course means it's a 50-50 gamble whether you win. If it's a 50-50 gamble, there's a 50% chance that you lose, which inherently means there's a 50% amount of risk. So, if two people are evenly matched, you will gain Votaire experience. But now, what if your stats look like this? Okay. Oh, that's not the right marker. These damn markers. What if it looks more like this now? If you fight this guy, do you think you're still going to get any experience?
No.
Probably not. Because
No.
if you have that much attack, defense, and speed, what is this guy going to reasonably be able to do to you? Now, can he do something to you? Sure. He can have a gun. He can have a bomb. He can trap you. He can do plenty of different things. And that still counts as risk. Your body doesn't run on math. Your body runs on logic. If your body detects risk, it activates Voltaire fight mode, and you will gain Voltaire experience from dealing with it. If it detects no risk because the person you're fighting has too little Voltaire and they're not even able to damage you, well, then you're not going to get anything. Any questions on this?
No,
He
no,
raises
sir.
his hand.
Go on, annoying one.
So I have a question. When it comes to risk, what is the identifying factor? Is it emotion, or is it more so with the aftermath? Like, for example, if you're fighting somebody who has like less Voltaire than you, but they have a weapon, and you know, and you turn out that they did not have a weapon, what would that affect in your experience? Because you thought they had a gun, a weapon, a knife, something bad.
That is
Does
a good
that matter?
question. That is a good question. And it does matter. However, it depends. Because much like our own senses and our muscles, regardless of our soul, sometimes our body senses danger when there is no danger. And sometimes our body does not sense danger when there's somebody behind you with a knife. Now, that is not how your soul works. Your soul can sense other souls around you, even if you and your brain isn't keeping up. That is somewhat of a sixth sense that we don't know how to activate. Our souls are more perceptive and smarter than our own brains are. We are just trying to control our soul with our body. It's like, think of a cage. Think of our soul like this. It's a big purple cage. Whoops. This, damn it, he throws another mark out the window. This is our soul right here. Right? Or actually, I'm drawing this backwards. Let me redact myself. This is our body. It's all made of blood and veins, and on the inside is our soul. Our body is just keeping our soul in check. Now, obviously, if the body dies, then the soul gets crushed in the cage. And if the soul dies, well, then there's nobody in the cage to keep inside of it. So they both need to be kept in check. Now, what does this have to do with risk? Well, risk can come from either side. If your body detects risk because you feel like you're in danger, you can still gain Voltaire experience. If you see a guy with a sniper rifle and you're starting to take all these crazy moves and you're high adrenaline, high Voltaire, dodge and weaving between bullets, you're going to gain experience from that. Even if you discover later on that it's a Nerf gun, because you believed that there was true danger. However, if you don't believe there's true danger, you can't trick your body into knowing that or not. If you are told by somebody, I'm going to shoot you with a Nerf gun, but he's holding a gun that looks like a real gun, well, in your mind, you doubt it's a real gun, so it's not going to work. You have to actually believe that there's danger in order for your body to instinctively kick on danger mode. But that's only half the equation, because your soul can sense danger. So even if you don't sense danger with your body, if you are fighting a tier 3 who looks like a tier 1 who can't hurt you, you will still gain experience in that. Your soul knows that's a tier 3. So when he comes towards you with a gun, even if you're like, this Joe Schmo Nerf gun can't hurt me, your soul knows better. Does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
I'd say my soul's pretty damn smart.
That's right. All of our souls are much smarter than we are. As a matter of fact, some people have theorized that our souls are already tier 3. And all that we're doing is trying to awaken the souls in our body and learn how to release it enough to where we can use all of the potential and energy inside of us. Now, I don't know if that's just some philosopher or something. I could be wrong. Who's to say? Are we gaining soul energy by fighting people? Are we gaining stuff from their soul that makes our soul stronger? Or is our soul already strong and it's just weakened by our body until we learn how to use it more? That's some food for thought for tonight. But it's not important. Anyhow, we're going to stop talking about experience because I think I've had enough of talking about this. Unless anybody has any questions. Anyone? All right, let's move on. Let's see what we have next here. Next on our list is attack. Everyone likes attacking. Seeing tall skyscrapers and buildings is very cool, and it's very glamorous. Making tall skyscrapers and buildings, not so much. Now, destroying tall skyscrapers and buildings, everyone loves that. Everyone likes building a Jenga tower and then knocking it down because destruction is inherently fun. It's just ingrained into our brains for better or for worse. So, let's talk about our ability to destruct other people's souls and bodies and how. How do we classify the way that we destruct other people's souls and bodies? Well, we do it with attacks. He suddenly bends down into his desk, and all the students look at each other. April looks at Bitter and goes, wow, this teacher's really serious, and he's kind of...
bro! He shields himself. What's wrong with you? I told you I didn't want to get through you. You're gonna make me sick. You're gonna make me. He starts sneezing. I feel like I'm getting sick already.
Oh, you're getting me sick. There's a disgusting.
No, you're getting sick.
Yerk stands up and his eyebrows are twitching. All right, calm down, you two, before you get everyone in this class.
She's getting me sick. She's getting me sick, sir. She's sneezing all over me.
They're just being drags.
They kind of are being drags. They're dragging their snot and sweat everywhere. Keep it to yourselves. Especially right now, because I'm about to walk towards you. You see he's carrying 9 textbooks. And he starts walking to everybody, and he sets one on Ed's desk. Then he sets one on... I didn't lose the map or anything. He sets one on Whisper's desk. Then he slaps one down in front of April. She goes, wow. And then he slaps one down in front of Bitter.
Oh, sir, it's wet. It's wet. Can I get another one?
He opens his mouth to talk, and then he just walks away. He slaps one down in front of the annoying one. Then he slaps one down in front of Jeff Agos. And he slaps one down in front of Nicholas.
Thanks.
And then he slaps one down in front of Marshall. He holds it up in front of the window and he goes, Marshall White, yo, Marshall White! And then lastly, in the back of the classroom, he slaps one down in front of Goober Go-Star.
Hey, thanks, Teach. Hey, between you and me, I'm sorry I was late, man. I was actually crying about some stuff, man. I'm so sorry, dude. I'm sorry. Can you please forgive me, man? I'm so sorry.
He looks back at you. Listen, if you need to talk after class, you can. But you gotta save the crying for after class, bud. You gotta get it on time. York just walks away quickly, concerned. He goes, all right. I'd like everyone to look at the book that they just got. Everybody looks down, and what do they see? Well, they see a green textbook, and there's big bold letters on the front of it that says Battle System. These are your own Battle System textbooks. And throughout this learning session, I would like you guys to follow along, and I'd like you guys to even open up pages. I will be calling on you guys to read out certain descriptions, and I will be teaching you guys how to utilize these textbooks so that you can find out the information you need in battles. Any questions on this? I didn't think so. All right. First things first, I would like everyone to open up to the attack portion of their textbook. So, if you look at the table of contents on the front of your book, you will see a whole bunch of things here. He holds up the book for everyone to see. Attack, draw, defense, damage. These are all sections. And there's a little codec on the side, and well, if you type in the words into the codec, it'll chat. AKA, I'm saying use your Discord to pull up the commands in R&R speak. And that is how you find the different chapters using your table of contents. So now we're on the attack page, and I'm going to go over something pretty important for the entire battle system. So please pay attention to this part. you're going to notice that on each page, there is a general description at the top. This is the attack page. This is a just basic description. Your attack experience, often abbreviated as a red A, refers to the power of your body that your body naturally outputs into attack options. Voltaire attack, usually abbreviated as a purple VA, is a separate experience and stat that determines the power of Voltaire-independent attacks, which will always be specified. Now, every single category on the entire battle system has a description. So if you're like, what's attack? There it is. There's your description. Now, underneath it, you're always going to see general notes. General notes are broad things that apply to just attack in general. Doesn't fit neatly in any categories. Doesn't fit on any tables. This is just general notes that apply to attack. Some important, some not so important. So feel free to read those whenever. We're going to get to them later, though. And then on anything that has actions, like dodging or blocking or attack options, you're always going to see this little section here that says attack actions. So we're going to go over this one step at a time. I know I'm throwing a lot of information on you guys. I just want you guys to know how this book works so that you can utilize it better. And you're always able to ask questions. Anyhow, we're on the attack page. So I already read out what the description is, but you can see that there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 attack options. And these are just the ones that the book cared to list down. You could be creative and come up with something different. Like, I don't know, you can create laser hands. That's not an option on here. That won't fit onto the battle system. But obviously, physics are physics. So the universe will find a way to make sense. Anyhow, let's go over some options. And I am going to show you some doodles that correlate with each one. So first, we have a jab. Now, before everybody flips to their jab, I'm going to call on everyone. So you better be ready. Jeff Egos. Jeff Egos? Egos. What is a jab? What do you think a jab is?
You like take a weapon and like thrust it at someone, kind of.
Completely, 100% correct. This is a jab. Guys, I'm not drawing these on the whiteboard. I already drew these ahead of the time. This is a jab. Well, here's my lore description. You see that Captain Yerk pulls out a drawing pad. And he goes, my wife is an excellent artist and she drew some sketches for us today. He flips over to the first one. This is a jab. You can see this is our dummy here. And our protagonist is thrusting in this direction at this dummy, leaving this hole here. That is what a jab looks like. Now, we're going to go over the specifics of jab in a minute. I just want everybody to understand the basics of what these options even are. So, we're going to go to the next person. Nicholas, what is a swing? Take a guess if you don't know.
Swing, man. I'm guessing a swing your weapon at the opponent.
You're not allowed to use the word in the definition.
I like to put my hand up in you. Sir, I noticed what I noticed this one, please.
I'm asking Nicholas.
I guess it's just like attacking from a left to right or up to down kind of way.
Correct. And here's my wife's drawing of a swing. As you can see, he was standing and he swings it. Now look at the difference. Jab is a thrust. Swing is moving from left to right. So it covers more distance. All right. Next, we have light attack and annoying one. What do you think a light attack is? Take a guess if you don't know.
I'm guessing it's kind of like either a jab or a swing, so like, but just like you're holding back, I'm guessing. It's just a guess, though.
Pretty much, yes and no. You're not intentionally holding back. However, as you can see in these previous two instructions, notice his legs. He is putting his body and his weight into his thrust. And he is stepping forward, asserting his forward momentum and his body's weight into the swing. A light attack is when you're kind of just standing there. And you don't really want to step forward or anything to put your body in it. You just want to quickly swipe your hand. Now, this has quite a lot less power than if you were to put your body's weight into it. But if you really just need to hit someone really quickly, you can go for a light attack. And yes, you're correct. That can be a jab or a swing indeed. Next up, bitter. What is a step in attack?
Oh, that's when you, well, you step in, you use the momentum, and you move forward into the attack.
That is obvious, but correct. You step into the attack. As you can see on the right, he is standing there, and he steps forward dramatically. Now, look at the difference. Look at this swing. Look at this thrust. He took one step forward to put his body's weight into it, and when he retracts, he's going to pull his body back. Now, look at this. He put his entire body, like probably 2 foot forward. He took a dramatic step and thrusted his whole weight forward. Now, of course, he's a lot closer to the dummy than he is in this one because he's stepping towards them. But that's what a step and attack does. All right, next, I'm going to call on Whisper. What do you think a lunge is?
I guess it's like something where you, I wouldn't say jump, but kind of like a jump towards somebody when you attack them.
You're on the right track, but you're not jumping. A lunge is kind of where you're just protruding your body forward rather recklessly in an attempt to gain a lot of distance. So you see, look at this thrust. He safely tilted his body like this, and he thrusted his arm at the opponent. And this one, he is just stretching his arm out behind him to balance himself as he widely protrudes himself forward recklessly. Now, I want someone to take a guess. What is the huge difference in a lunge versus a jab? Look at the body.
It looks like that you get more distance.
Correct. But everything in the universe is balanced, which is both the rules of alchemy and the rules of the yin and yang. And so, for that extra distance and that extra power, you're also very off balance. If you were to be hit in this state, you would most certainly fall over. His legs are spread very widely, almost doing the splits, and he has to hold his arm out just to balance. So, a lunge is a reckless attack, is what I like to call it. But effective nonetheless. Next, Goober Ghostar. What do you think a fake out attack is?
Ooh, I was hoping you would call on me for this one, Teach. That is where you, almost said fake out. Excuse me. That is where you trick your opponent that you think you're going to do something, but then you do something else.
Close enough. Is you're tricking your opponent into doing something, but you do nothing. You're on the right track, though. As you can see, my wife drew eyeballs in the dummy for comical effect, but a fake out is when you are, like he said, trying to make it look like you're doing an attack, but then you don't commit to it. Instead of committing to a full thrust, now again, let me point out, let's say you're going for a lunge. This is a committed action. If you don't commit to your attacks, you will not be hitting hard enough to hurt somebody. You think you can cut somebody by just, he does a little motion like a cat clawing at somebody playfully. If you just nip at someone, you're not going to do any damage to anyone wearing armor, anyone that has Votaire defense. You're going to have to put your body weight and your arm and all your strength and Votaire into thrusting. You are committing to this. If you hold back, you're inherently not hitting strong enough. Now, if you're going for a fake out, what does this mean? Well, this means that you are intentionally not putting any effort into what you're doing so that you're not lunging your body forward and putting yourself off weight, causing yourself to retract, causing yourself to lose balance. You are just going to make it look like you're going to attack and then immediately retract. Now, you might say, why would you ever do this? The answer? Well, I don't know, Ed Ramanakaka, He Hall, whatever your name is. Why do you think someone would do this?
Well, maybe you try and make that attack look real, so they go for a block, and then you can attack them with something more powerful.
Correct. You can bait a block or bait a dodge, causing somebody to commit to another action while you're safely finished with your own so you can counterattack. But that's strategy. We'll get on that another day. We just want to go over how to attack for today. All right.
I like to raise my hand in the air.
He looks over, bitter, and then looks away. Okay, fine. What is it, bitter?
Oh yeah. Is there an attack where you do like a fake out, but you do make a different attack?
That is advanced techniques, and you would actually have to learn that from a professional. I don't know how to do that. I heard there's a race called Soon that comes from the deranged realm, and they are able to accurately make it look like they're doing something that they're not. Most people probably can't distort their body. If you're swinging from left to right, I think anyone looking at you is going to know you're swinging from left to right.
Toby raises his hand.
Yes, annoying one?
Okay. Can you fake out with range attacks? That sounds interesting if you could.
Not really. You could probably fake out if you were trying to throw something. But if you're using something like a firearm or a bow and arrow, there's not really a way you're going to be able to do that. The most you're going to be able to do is draw back your bow and just hope that they dodge out the way. But, I mean, once you release the bow, you release the bow. But again, if you learn some advanced techniques from maybe some kind of dojo master, perhaps you can learn a way. But for us average people, we're not going to spend hundreds of hours practicing advanced, dangerous techniques. We're just going to learn how to basically attack. Anyhow, there is still a few more options. We're getting into the more niche ones here. I forgot who I called it in order, so I'm just going to call somebody random. Jeff, what do you think a tackle is?
Where you throw your whole body on against someone, like you put your arm up and run into someone.
Pretty much. A tackle is where you are already dashing. You have to be dashing, and then you ram into somebody like a bull. As you can see in this drawing here, this guy was running, as you can tell by his leg positioning, and he just pushed his body weight into somebody. Now, compared to a pointed attack, this is obviously not as effective. You might say, well, Captain York, what do you mean? Think of it this way. Think of how a knife works. It's shaped like this. Now, knife technology is not that complicated. When you have all this metal weight and you thrust it, all of the power is being evenly distributed into this little tiny point. So if you have 100 here and 100 here and 100 here, but you're concentrating it all there, that equals 300. But what if you have a weapon like a bat that is not evenly divided into a point? Well, maybe you have 100 here, 100 here, 100 here, but you're not always going to be hitting everybody with all of the bat. Now, if you're swinging it, maybe you can catch multiple hundreds to make it 300, but if you were jabbing with a bat, well, that's only 100. Now, you might say, Yerk, where the hell are you going with this? What I'm saying is that tackles are not overly effective at dealing damage because you're emitting your mass over a wide range of your body. So it's not going to deal that much damage compared to stabbing somebody or swinging at somebody. So what's the point in a tackle? Well, because you're pushing your body into somebody, it's much better at knocking someone away. So let's say you push your arm into somebody and you assert your strength and shove them away afterwards. It's very effective at inducing knockback and flinches onto opponents. But we're getting ahead of ourselves here. We're almost at the end of attacks. Whisper, what do you think a dash attack is?
You dash at them, and then you attack them right after.
He looks back at you. That's 100% correct. Very astute using your context clues there, Whisper. Well, you dash at somebody, and while you're in the middle of dashing, you thrust forward. Now, this is, need I say, needlessly maybe, very dangerous. Much like a lunge where you're recklessly throwing your body forward, putting yourself off balance. You're not necessarily putting yourself off balance, but you are throwing your entire body forward. So if you miss, you might fly past the opponent. If there's something over there, you might trip. You might be stuck retracting for a good while because you are throwing your whole weight recklessly in one direction. So this is not a very safe option to miss, but it's fast and it's powerful. All right, two more. Nicholas, what do you think a knee is? I'm not talking about the body part, I'm talking about the attack option.
It's where you lunge your knee at the opponent.
We have some smart cookies in our class today. That is completely correct. You knee somebody. Moving on. And lastly, we have retraction. Anyone want to take a guess what a retraction is? I've already mentioned it a few times.
May I.
Goober Ghost Star, you're so excited I can't say no. What do you think it is?
Well, just from guessing, don't all attacks need a retraction afterwards, or at least most of them?
Correct. They do. So let's say that you, for example, just went for a jab at somebody. Well, afterwards, your weapon, as you can see, is in a hole in the person's body right now. So if you were to try to go for a swing, what do you think would happen? Well, your blade might break because it's stuck inside somebody's bones and cartilage and you're trying to jiggle it out recklessly. No, what you need to do is a retraction. You need to pull in the opposite direction to pull your weapon out of the hole so that you can reset yourself back to neutral so that you're open to any attack once again. Now, of course, after going for a jab, you can go for something like a knee because as you can see, weapon here, knee here. These things do not intersect. But if you go for jab and then you try going for swing, well, how the hell do you go from this to this without retracting? It just doesn't work. You need to pull your weapon out first. So that's what a retraction is.
I have a question.
Yes?
So let's say in that hypothetical that you just mentioned, you do like a jab and then you do a knee. Do you have to retract twice as much? How does that work?
No, because after you go for your jab, you can technically start retracting your weapon while you're kneeing. These things are not, they're not parallel. They can intersect a little bit. You can retract your arm from your stab while you jab your knee at somebody. But then afterwards, you still have to retract your knee.
I have one last question.
Mm-hmm.
What's so special about the knee attack? Why isn't there like an elbow or a foot?
Well, that indeed is because a knee attack, well, technically there is. Now, this is a great question. Technically, going for a kick, for example, would just be either a swing or a jab. So let's just pretend that in this example, this rapier is your foot. If you're going for a side kick, that is a jab. And if you're going for a roundhouse kick, well, then that would be a swing because you're swinging it diagonally from side to side. So they still fit into the same category. They're just called something different. But a knee...
You're so insightful.
Well, this isn't really that's not really a stab. This is just a completely different action.
Thank you, teacher.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Because I just laid a lot on you guys, and I did a lot of the talking. So if you have anything you were like, hey, that sounded fishy, I probably have an explanation. Anyone want to try me?
Nope.
Excuse me. What about sweeps?
Sweep? Do you mean similar to a swing, or are you talking about something else?
No, you use your foot to knock them over.
Ah, well, that would technically still be considered a swing. If you're swinging your foot from left to right, you're just swinging on the ground.
Understood.
So you can see most actions neatly fit into these little, cute little categories we named them here. Now, there is some actions we didn't mention. That is because there's a lot of attacks that don't fit into these categories. These are only referring to melee attacks. Melee meaning blunt or cutting weaponry that you hold in your hand or punch with or kick with. So we're not talking about with hair blasters or firearms or archery or throwing things. These are only the attacks relating to melee. I just want to make that clear. Anyhow, why don't we move on? Now, we have not gotten into any specifics. So you might say, well, yeah, that's pretty interesting, but what is the difference in all of these? Well, I don't want to lay it on too thick, so I'm not going to. We'll come back to that. For now, let's play more of this little picture game, because there's only a few more actions I want to talk about. Now, let's just say he pulls out his rapier. It's golden, and it has little diamonds encrusted on it. He clearly spent a lot of money on it. Doesn't look like it's meant for battle. But nonetheless, he starts walking towards Ed, and he randomly jabs his weapon out, but he stops it just before it hits you. Now, Ed, if I was a foot closer to you, what would you have done?
The
correct answer is not getting stabbed.
Well, I mean, yeah, probably like move out of the way to the left or right.
And what's the
Maybe
word
drop
for
down.
moving out of the way?
Isn't that a shuffle?
That's a very specific way to word it, but you're referring to a dodge or evasion. You would dodge my action, yes?
Yes.
So that is the number one bane of attacking, is dodging. So what are ways that we can dodge? I'd just like you guys to theory craft, because we already have words for these, and I'll have you flip to the book in just a moment, but I want you to use your imaginations to show that this book really does kind of cover all bases here. Let's just say he starts pacing back and forth. But then he randomly turns and he swings his weapon in front of Whisper, still a foot out of range. Whisper, I just swung from left to right at your chest. What would you have done to dodge this if you were standing up?
Excuse me? Sorry. Can you please repeat that?
I just swung my weapon from left to right near your chest area. So, if you were standing up and not on a desk, what would you have done to dodge this?
Well, if anything, I would block.
Well, you can block, but he looks at you and observes you very closely. You don't have anything to block with.
Not even a weapon? Not even the table?
No.
How about the chair?
Well, if you were to do that, you would definitely be slower than my swing, so your better option would be to evade my action quickly.
Okay. How long is your distance? Maybe I can shuffle backwards. Since I'm tall enough and slow, I would say ducking would be not a good option. So I'd probably shuffle backwards.
He nods. Exactly. Now that's one of many options, but that is an option, shuffling. So what does a shuffle look like? Well, as she explained, she's sort of sidestepping or backstepping, and that's exactly what a shuffle is. If you've ever shuffled left to right, you've kind of just done a slower version of the jump. As you can see, in our diagram, you are standing, you are shuffling, and you are standing. There's no need for retraction. This is not a bold movement. It is literally a sidestep, or a front step, or a back step, whatever direction you choose. It is a shuffle. That's one way to dodge. He starts walking over, and then he stops in front of April. He raises his weapon up like he's going to bonk her on the head with it, but then he stops.
April, watch out! April, watch out!
Oh no! Yerk moves out the way before she sneezes all over him. All right, April, I just evaded your attack with a shuffle, but regardless, I hammer-headed you, almost. How would you have dodged that? I don't know, maybe, I sneeze on you? No, you don't ever do that. He turns to Bitter. Bitter, how could she have dodged that?
By ducking?
Yes and no. Now, it depends how far I swung down. I have a pretty hefty rapier here. Probably would reach her if she ducked. But let's just say I stopped at the head like I did. Then sure, you could duck underneath it.
Then she could maybe go prone or drop.
Yes, there. That's kind of what I was looking for there. So, if I was swinging down on her head, well, as you can see in this diagram, we have a crouch or a duck. You can call it either or. You're standing. You lower yourself to half in height. Usually where your head is close to your groin area, effectively halving your body. So, if I were to swing at her head, and I stopped at the chest, this would work. If I were to commit to my swing from top to bottom, I would have still chopped her head either way, because I was swinging from up to down. However, what about if she went for a drop? She was standing, and she dropped all the way onto the floor, as if she were doing a push-up, or she were just, I don't know, face planting. Well, then there's no way I could have hit her unless I ducked down. My weapon's not going to reach my ankles while I'm standing completely upright. So that would indeed work, and that is another dodge option. He continues walking silently around the classroom like a prey, or rather like a predator in the jungle looking for his prey. But then he suddenly stops, and he randomly takes a leap over somebody's desk, and he lands next to Goober. Goober, what did I just do? I went for a large what? What did I do?
A lunge.
What did I do with my legs?
Yeah, stepped in, I think.
I stepped in the air. This is what we call a jump, my fine young fellow.
Oh.
And he pulls out a sketch. As you can see, this is what a jump looks like. You're standing, and he clears his throat awkwardly. You lunge yourself into the air, as Goober would say.
Sorry, I thought you were trying to attack me, Teach.
Oh, I was, but I'm feeling nice right now. He gives you a playful smile. Well, anyhow, that's a jump. This is when you allow yourself to jump into the air, and of course, because of gravity, you will fall down afterwards. Now, what is the difference in a jump and a leap? Because they sound like synonyms, and they almost are, but there is a distinguishable difference. Anyone want to take a guess what the difference is?
Wouldn't
I would
jumping
like to
get you
think
more
it is-
vertical height, and leaping would get you more horizontal height?
Exactly correct. And as you can see in this diagram, jumping, look at the arrow, up. Now look at a leap. See, he's still jumping, but he is jumping horizontally. So this is different. Of course, you do them both the same way. Just you're aiming your direction, either vertical or horizontal. And we distinguish it with those terminologies. I guess you could also say you jump horizontally, but why would you say jump horizontally when you could just say I leap?
That's because I'm
Ryan
bad at
puts his
words.
notes.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Anyhow, there's still a few dodges left, and there's not enough room in this classroom for the remaining few, so I'm going to stop doing these over-dramatic demonstrations here. But let's just say that, I was chasing you, annoying one. What would you probably do to get away from me? And then the obvious answer is fine. He raises his eyebrow. I did not catch a singular thing you just said.
He takes off his mask again. I'd probably run and then hide.
That is excellent, and exactly what I was hoping you would say. If I were chasing you, you would probably run away. And this is what we call running or dashing. You can see, he's standing here, and then he starts dashing off. I don't think I need to explain this any further than that. Now let's say that while I was chasing the annoying one, suddenly I started diving at her like I was going to grab her to pin her down. Well, in that case, Jeff, what is something that our running friend could do to move out of the way of my dive at her?
They can roll.
Correct. You could go for a roll. So look at this dashing lad here. Well, suddenly he's dashing. Now he's not. Now he's diving through the air and he's going for a tactical roll to recover himself. This covers quite a lot of distance, as you can see by the lovely demonstration here. Now, I'm just going to answer the last one myself here, but there's only one more dodge option, and that would be sliding. So if we go back to dashing, one other answer you could have said beside rolling is sliding. You dash, and then you drop on the floor like you're playing baseball and you want to make it to first place.
What does a dive look like? Because I think of another option that could be viable.
A dive is technically still a roll. It's just the first half of a roll before you start the rolling part.
Okay, what if I jumped high enough?
If you jumped high enough and went for a dive, well, that would just be a dive.
No, if I jumped high enough, when you were diving at me, would I just land on you?
Yes, if you spaced yourself correctly, you indeed could have jumped over me. And this is that's a great point, though. That is a great point because you can go for so many options to dodge the same situation. Now, you might have noticed a similarity when we were talking about dodging and when we were talking about attacking. And that similarity was that you take one very, very self-explanatory, simple concept, and you suddenly have 50 different options to handle the same basic thing. So, what is the point in even choosing any other option? Why wouldn't you just always pick the same one? Why would you pick any different ones if they all work the same, right? But that's the thing. They don't work the same. All of these options are situational. And we're going to have a dodging class next week. We'll go very specifically over what is the best options and how to dodge. Now, you might say, a whole week, Teach? Why in the world would we wait an entire week for that? Well, the answer is very simple. I am overloading your brains with information. I don't feel like going outside right now because it's supposed to storm later. I want my wife's lunch soon. And furthermore, and it's more complicated than you think, when you're stressed out and you're in the middle of a situation and you can't remember how far does a shuffle go, how fast is a roll compared to a shuffle, suddenly it becomes very complicated. Life or death situations. And you might say, it can't be that complicated, right? But what if somebody is running at you and about to jab a rapier at you with lethal force that could kill you in a hit? Well, suddenly, going for a sidestep that is a millisecond too slow is the difference in life and death. So knowing what dodge option is the most efficient to use in a situation like that would be very useful information. Wouldn't you say so, class?
Yes, you sure.
Yeah.
All right, I think we've had enough talk about dodging and attacking. Am I right, class? Because this has been plenty. So, what else is there to talk about? Well, I think this is something that so many people who start fighting and using the battle system journal always wonder about. Why is there a section for Voltaire? I know how to swing a sword. I know how to dodge. I know how to block. I don't need a book to tell me how to do this. But then you see Voltaire. That would be like seeing blood. It's almost the same thing. How do you blood attack? Well, let's go over that. Everyone, flip open to the Voltaire page of your battle system manual. I would like... Well, I feel like I'm picking on the same person. You see, he randomly decides to bring out a 6-sided dice. He goes, I'm going to roll a dice. Let's pretend that noise didn't happen. I pull out a 6-sided dice, and I'm going to roll to see who we get. And, going in our voice chat here. Generate. And Ed. I'm just calling you Ed. I'm not calling you Pee-Pee Balls, or whatever your name is.
Real.
Ed, if we were going to use Voltaire in battle, how would you assume we do that exactly? Do you know, or do you have a guess?
As in, how do we put it through our body?
No, how would we use it to attack?
Oh, well, you could put it into your attacking limb to speed it up or make it stronger.
Pretty much. That is exactly what you would do. Now, when you're expelling your Voltaire into your attacking limb, how do you just release that? Does anyone know what it's called? What are the release... How do you release something through your limb? You can't just spit your Voltaire out of your finger. What are you releasing it through? Does anyone know the answer?
Like I guess like areas like that you can like point and release them from, like special areas maybe.
That is right. They are called Voltaire points, and we have special areas that we can expel our Voltaire through our bodies. Now, if you remember that earlier diagram, I'm going to draw it a little differently this time for the sake of this demonstration. So let's say that this is you right here. You're this wonderful, beefy, muscular-looking lad that I'm drawing on the board. Okay? So, now if you're going to go for an attack, we have a few distinguishable Voltaire points that we're able to do this from. Now, of course, you can't attack with your blood, to my knowledge. Is there people who can attack with their blood? Probably. I don't know how to. So your heart doesn't matter for the sake of this demonstration. But a man who lives in the deranged realm, you've probably heard of him, the old King Ratrapina, who freed the realm of the verse 130 years ago, did discover that there is a way to use the Voltaire in your body to increase your attack. Now, we actually naturally do this, because whenever babies are born, some parents pierce your ears when you're young, because the baby doesn't seem to notice. Some people, most people, 99% of people statistically on average, when somebody is born, they activate what's called their Voltaire points. Now, what is a Voltaire point? If you remember my knife demonstration, if you're trying to, let's just say the Voltaire is liquid. If liquid is splashing in something like this, it's not going to get out. It's going to recoil and bounce back, and it's just going to get stuck in this loop because there's nowhere out. So what if you were to puncture a little tiny hole so that the Voltaire could get through? This is what we call a Voltaire point. And I'm going to explain where and how we're able to use these in battle. So I'm just going to have, just yell something out in 5 seconds. Ed, where's a Voltaire point on your body? Take a guess. You could be wrong, it's fine.
Somewhere on the hand?
Hand. That is correct. So, the hand is good. I like to call it the palm, but it's more specific. But yes, you have one. He points his little, at the edge of his femur. Oh, sorry, not, why did I say femur? At the end of his forearm bone, where his little wrist is, he points at the bone sticking out, and he goes, it's so tiny you can't see it, but there's a little tiny hole right there, and you're able to release your Voltaire through that hole. That is called your hand Voltaire point. And I put little dots where they're at on here. These connect to your Voltaire core, and like liquid, it sends Voltaire down these points, and you can release it out of the palm. because at a young age, you were already punctured to do this. If you weren't, it's very easy to activate. And no, I don't want to call on you, Bitter. You've been here too many times. Goober, what is another Votaire point?
If I were to guess, maybe upon your foot somewhere.
Correct. You have a foot Votaire point. It is right on the ball of your foot. You know, right underneath your shins where you're standing on, the bone underneath there, you can release your Votaire through. There's a little tiny hole, and you can use it to send Votaire from your core into your feet, down these lines like water, and when it's released, it activates in different ways. Now, I'm not being specific because we're going to get to that in just a moment here. But for now, I just want to go over the Votaire points. Jeff, what is another place you can release Votaire?
Maybe your head.
You're actually correct. Right in your forehead, believe it or not, right between your eyebrows, pretty much. He taps between them. There is a little spot where you can release Votaire through. Now, that actually depends what type of Votaire you have. He looks around the classroom. Not you, Ed. Not you, Goober. Not you, Bitter. I think it would just be... Okay, so it looks like only the Annoying One and Whisper are able to release Votaire differently. See, he points at himself and he points at most of the classroom. Most of us have what's called gaseous Votaire, which means that when it's released through these little tiny holes, it comes out like a gas. But there are some people where when they release it through the little Votaire points, it actually releases as a liquid. And this is called Votaire points. Or sorry, this is called liquidus Votaire. My bad. This is the Votaire point. This is liquidus Votaire. And this is gaseous Votaire. There is one more type, which is called solidus Votaire, which is the most uncommon. Nobody in this classroom can activate solidus Votaire. Now, Whisper, you are a demon. Demons naturally have liquidus Votaire, which means that your Votaire points come out like this. And the Annoying One, you are a No, what is your race called again? You're that fish race. I apologize. I actually don't know the name. Annoying One, your mask is down.
I usually don't talk about myself, so sorry. I'm putting it back on.
Aren't you some kind of nocturidium?
That's the word. Nocturidium. They're an aquatic race, and their body, by complete coincidence, also releases Votaire like a liquid. Maybe it's just evolution. They said that demons can do it because, fun fact, I am not teaching biology. I am teaching combat. So I'm going to stop explaining this immediately after I introduce it. But specifically in Whisper's case, she has a Votaire core here, a heart here, and she has a second stomach that we call a demon blood pouch. That's next to your actual stomach, Whisper. And you technically can release your demon blood also through your Votaire points. They use the same lines, and you can release it like acid. It's very dangerous. If you wanted to burn through this building, you could release some demon blood acid onto the wooden walls, and I'm sure it'd burn through like corroding wood ants. But anyhow, that's enough on that. We're not talking about biology before somebody starts feeling a little queasy inside. Anyhow, other points that you can release them through. Feel free to yell them out.
I guess mouth?
I have a...
Mouth is correct. For liquidus users, it's the mouth.
What about your eyes? You use your eyes?
Yes, that's correct. Yes. Again, liquidus users can release Votaire through their eyes as little tear shots. Gaseous can input gas Votaire into their head to speed up how fast they're headbutting somebody.
What about someone on their calves or their legs?
You said their calves or the legs?
Yes.
That is kind of correct. Your shins. You can input Votaire into your shins or your calves on the other side. And you can use this in different ways. I'm not going to get into specifics. We're not teaching Votaire class today. That is a lot of information. As a matter of fact, I almost feel like this analogy has gone on a little bit too long. Regardless, you can release Votaire through your fingers. You can release Votaire through your torso. And I think that's about it, actually. That's pretty much about all the places you can release them through. So, those are your Voterra points. We're going to go in detail about how you can release them, what the different types of Voterra are, what are things to look out for, what are ways to counterattack them, and all that. Good jazz. Now, that is how Voterra works. So when you look at the battle system and you read Voterra, you're not attacking with your Voterra points. You're attacking by expelling Voterra through your body in different ways. So, if in the earlier example where the annoying one is running away from me, if I was faster than them, they could actually get away in different ways. They have Liquidus Voterra. So if they were to input some Voterra into their foot point, because she's a gaseous user, he looks over at the mask. The person, the annoying one, is a Liquidus user. When they're putting it into their foot, it comes out like a big poof, and they can explode away from me like a burst. Now, if I were chasing down Jeff, it's not how it would work. If he were running away from me, he would use gas to actually speed up the pace of his footsteps. Think of it like a balloon. The lighter it is, the lighter anything is, the faster it moves. So he's inputting all this gas into his feet, and that's causing him to move faster. So you can see there's different ways of using your Voterra. And I'm just explaining this as a general example. I'm sorry, he turns around. I didn't hear that. Somebody had a question?
Yes. What's the difference between white and dark black Voterra and all that?
That is a good question, and a pretty complicated one. I'm going to actually get back to you on that because we're going to have a whole class about Voterra. We're going to talk about gaseous Voterra, liquidus, solidus Voterra, white Voterra, black Voterra, Voterra abilities, Voterra skills, different ways you can use them and how to conserve on your Voterra. But that is a lot of information for today, and I'm sure everybody's already feeling a little bit like this. He does a dramatic motion with his fingers, like there's rain trickling down his forehead, and he looks tired. Everyone's probably feeling like a downpour is coming down, like, Yerk, stop it! It's too thick and I don't have an umbrella, I can't take any more.
Oh yeah, I feel like he wipes his brow.
Yeah, well, you always have sweat coming down, regardless of the circumstances. Anyhow, class, this has been so much talking. I'm sure you're tired of hearing my voice. So, I'd like everybody to stand up.
We're doing the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Everybody looks over at Marshall, who's sleeping. Marshall, Marshall. Hey, Marshall! Yerk walks over and slaps his rapier on his desk. Hey, Marshall White here, y'all! Marshall White stands up. All right, everybody. Before we leave today, he looks back at everyone. Well, I was going to do an exercise, but it looks like everybody's feeling really sleepy today. Huh. Well, we can always save it for next time. We did get to go over all the basics of combat, but, well, we still got 5 minutes left of class, so I guess there's one very, very important thing I didn't talk about. I'm going to go over very quickly here. Everyone, go to your table of contents in the battle system. All these categories. You see attack? We talked about speed and all the dodges. We talked about Voterra, but we didn't talk about defense. Well, there's not much to say. Defense is very, very self-explanatory and simple, as you can probably imagine. So let's just talk about that super quickly here. All right. I don't think anyone's going to get this answer wrong, but someone, take a guess how your Voterra defense works.
When you get hit, you get more defense.
Correct. It works like this. It's like a shield that covers your body. It's like a big aura shield. So if Ed were to say that April is really gross and that made April really mad, well then April, if she weren't a very civilized person, might do something like this. She might punch him because she's really mad that she said he's gross, even though she is a little gross sometimes. No offense, April. Sneezing is gross. So she punched him. Now, when she punched him, the first thing that she came into contact with was his Voterra defense. So, if she's able to do 100 attack with her punch, and you have a Voterra defense of 60, that means that you, underneath this 60 Voterra defense, would take 40. Is that simple? I feel like that's easy to understand, right, guys?
Indeed.
yeah.
And believe it or not, unlike all the other categories, which has all these complications and different things, defense is pretty simple. That's mostly what there is to say. Now, there is one more thing to say. I guess you can call it a teaser for future lessons if you want. But let's just say that he looks around the classroom. Well, I don't have any great examples here because everybody here uses physical attack. But let's just say that I was able to conjure fire in my hand. Now, we actually have Bitter who is able to use water Votaire, which is impressive. But water is a physical thing. It does not affect your Votaire defense, actually. However, let's say that Bitter was able to conjure fire in his hand instead of conjuring water in his hand. And we were to shoot this fire at you. Well, fun fact, fire has Votaire inside of it. Fire is alive. It has a soul to it. And it is not affected by this green shield of Votaire that covers our body. So, what would it do? Would it go to your 60 defense if it had 50? No, it would not. Because again, it's not affected by this green shield that covers your body at all. It completely goes through it. So what does it go through? Now this gets confusing, but it's called Votaire defense. Not to be confused with your physical defense. This green shield is your physical defense. This purple shield, which is very, very rarely used. As a matter of fact, statistics show that only 5% of people that have ever been attacked throughout the Realmverse have ever had to use their Votaire defense. Most people have 0 Votaire defense. They have a shield of 0. But like we talked about at the beginning of the lesson, the more you use something, the more experience you gain for it. So let's just say that Ed was attacked by Bitter, who used Fire Votaire in this theoretical. Well, Ed, after the attack, you would gain some, because you got attacked by a Votaire exclusive attack that has VA, that purple VA, Votaire attack, and it's going to your Votaire defense, which is 0. Well, now you got some experience. So maybe it burned you a little bit, and now you have 3 Votaire defense. So next time it hits you, it's not going to deal 50 damage to you. It's going to deal 47 damage to you because you have 3. And then you get more experience. Now you have 6. So next time he hits you with his 50 Votaire attack, you take 43 because 50 minus 6 is 43. Does this make sense, everybody?
That would
Yeah.
actually be 54, right? You did your math wrong.
He looks back at the board. That is what I wrote. He says, this is why I'm not a mathematician. I am a combatitician. And that is not a word, but I just made it one. All right, class. We have done a lot of talking today. We didn't even go over blocking actions. We didn't even go over combat speed, which is the 4th most important Votaire experience that there is. But we're not going over that today because he points his finger at the bell. And suddenly the bell starts ringing as if perfectly on cue. Yep, timed it perfectly. It is time for us to go home. It's time for you to do your homework. If you look at the back of your battle system books, I left some for you. I'm going to be eating my wife's lunch. I have spaghetti, peanut butter jelly sandwich, and rice pudding. So, he shoos you guys with his hand. Get the hell out of here. It's going to start storming soon, and it's nice and sunny now. Go walk home.
Sure,
why not?
Goodbye, everyone. You'll see me in your dreams.
You all are a
Runs up the building.
drag.
As everybody walks
Wow,
outside,
losers.
April stands up and goes, "Ah, the outdoors. How I love the..." Hello, Rat members. Thank you for watching this Realms and Ratrapina combat training video. Please like and leave a comment to support the channel. There will be more sessions on this channel, but there is going to be a main Realms and Ratrapina channel coming in a little bit, probably later this year. Thanks for watching. Bye.